they travel. The end of chapter 1, they travel and they arrive in Nasila. And what surprises them is the way they're invited. You know, they have never been to Nasila. Tayo and Resian have never been to Nasila. The second chapter, there are two things that I will talk about. They relocate. So the second chapter, I'm giving the key things about life. There is life in Nasila and the way they're invited. Yeah. And we shall come to know life in Nasila, invitation. Yeah. At Simiren's place. There is uncle known as Uncle Simiren. Another thing we shall talk about in this part is the attack by the vagabond. Yeah, there is the attack by the vagabond. That is also very key. The third thing that the third chapter talks about is the visit of Okello, yeah, to his friend. The name of the friend was known as Soin Olesupeyo. Soin Olesupeyo. That is key. So finally, they leave Simiren's house, yeah, to their new home. They leave Simiren's house to their new home. So number one, they travel. The end of chapter 1, they travel and they arrive in Nasila. And what surprises them is the way they're invited. You know, they have never been to Nasila. Tayo and Resian have never been to Nasila. Their parents have been to Nasila, but they themselves have never been to Nasila. So they're invited in a very good way. And in fact, they're surprised because they never expected. This is the first time. But they cannot go to their house because they arrived at night, it was dark. Their house is not properly arranged. So they had to stay at Simiren's house. Simiren is the brother of Parsimei Okello. Simiren has got how many wives? 4. Yeah, 4 wives and a total of 16 children. So you find out that according to Maasai culture, Simiren will be given more respect than Okello because they believe so much in polygamy. Remember I told you that you differentiate between polygamy, having more than one wife, monogamy, a husband having one wife, and polyandry, where there is polygamy, more than one wife, monogamy, one wife, then polyandry, where a wife has got more than one husband. That is not practiced so much, but in the news you've heard about such stories. But the one that is mostly practiced is polygamy and monogamy. So Simiren is acting like the firstborn in Nasila because of the absence of Okello. And now that Okello has arrived or has come, then things have to change. But we shall see that there is a very big problem. And there is one thing that is disturbing Okello, the mother, and even the daughters, is how the daughters are going to cope. Because there's one thing that was disturbing the daughters, the mother. It is the daughter's status of Intoyenemengalana. I've just told you. And then Okello has been away for quite some time. And one thing that was not good. When you live, for example, Garissa, you go to Mombasa, now. You want to show that I've arrived, let me walk around and see how the place is. So they decide to walk around. Remember, the mother is the one who allows them, but warns them of their consequences and tells them to be careful. They ignore. The way girls ignore. Like today is .com. And somebody is also homeless, has no place to stay, and has no job. So this vagabond attacks them, and in fact abuses them, telling them, if you look at the book very well, that they are not decent women because of their status of Intoyenemengalana. And in fact, the vagabond threatens them and tells them that they have not seen enough of him, meaning that he's going to return. Yeah? So they now come to realize that this is not the place they thought as they thought they were. So that is something that, and if you read the book very well, they are also left in a dilemma. After that ordeal, whether to tell their parents or not to tell their parents. Yeah, and they finally decide that they are not going to inform their parents because they fear that the consequences will be fatal and that they are going to be punished because they left without the permission of the father, and they never to heed the advice of the mother to be careful. So after all this, we now talk about there is a friend. The same chapter talks about a friend of Parsimeo Lekailo, that they knew each other long ago. The friend is an uncool child, uncool, a cattle trader according to Maasai culture. So they came to know each other. Is known as Soin Olesupeo, a very great friend. So when Parsimeo arrives in Nasila, he goes and visits Soin Olesupeo, who is a very great friend. We are being told that their friendship emanates from long ago, because Parsimeo Lekailo is somebody who has gone to school, but Soin Olesupeo has not gone to school, so he had difficulty in counting money. He wanted to be sure. He had an approximate value of the amount of money. So he used to take Parsimeo Lekailo, they go deep into the forest, then he removes the coins and the notes. We are off to go. So I was saying that Olekailo goes to visit Olesupeo, who is a very great friend, but there's one thing that brings a problem. There is a topic that Olekailo introduces to Olesupeo that becomes a very big problem. Yeah, this topic, internet unstable. There is something that there is business whereby Edward Olesudori Lonkia has introduced Olekailo to. And you're being told that Edward Olesudori Lonkia has told Olekailo that he's going to assist him to get what we call government contracts. Government contracts to supply agricultural inputs. So meaning that Olesudori has introduced Olekailo to business. That is not a problem. It is good to introduce somebody to business. But what makes Soin Olesupeo to fear is not that he does not want Olekailo to succeed. No. It is not that he's a competitor because he's also doing business. No. But he is warning Olekailo of the consequences. And I usually say in English that a word is enough for the wise. This Edward Olesudori Lonkia is a very great blackmailer. We shall come to see later in details. He lures you into business, and while you've started doing business with the person, while he knows that he has supported you fully to a point of no return, now he starts bringing in the demands one by one. And early in advance, I'm very happy because of Soin Olesupeo, he warned Olekailo and told Olekailo, if I can quote from the book, that there is no one, everyone in Nasila knows Edward Olesudori, and everyone in Nasila knows anyone who is corrupt. Knows everyone who is corrupt. And Edward Olesudori Lonkia is corrupt of them all. A warning by Olekailo. Now what happens is that Olekailo is warned by Soin Olesupeo, and so Olekailo is left in a sort of dilemma. Because remember, Edward Olesudori Lonkia is the one who has made Olekailo to be financially stable. The house that he has built in Nasila is because of Edward Olesudori Lonkia. The business, for the business to continue, or for the business to be upgraded or elevated from one level to another, it is the assistance of Edward Olesudori that is required, and the contracts that Edward Olesudori will give that will improve the business. But now there is this fear. Yeah? There is this warning that he has also been given by a very great friend known as Soin Olesupeo. So it's upon him now to decide. And automatically he decides, like we shall see later, to continue doing business with this person. So the end of chapter 2, if you can read very well, it ends down there where they leave Simiren's house to go and see their new house. Now they go and see their new house in that is in Nasila, their new. Let me just talk about those two chapters. Next time I'll talk about the other two chapters, then I begin now analyzing other aspects like features of style, themes, and character and characterization. Have a splendid day, and God bless you.